My name is Donald Large.
Okay. And so you just completed the body count challenge.
Yes.
So it's part nutrition, part exercise. But tell us a little bit about the success you had over the last 6 weeks. There's your sheet if you want to read off that. That helps.
I mean, the measurements are there. You know, it was, for me, a lot of it's weight loss. So just, you know, over the course of the last 3 years, just, you know, gaining weight at a, you know, pretty moderate rate, you know, over that period of time. You know, I think, I don't know, the doctors are kind of like iffy, you know, they give you the BMI scale, but for me, I was easily 70, 80 pounds overweight, you know, where I need to be for myself, let alone what the doctor would think. But so success, I mean, this is awesome to see that.
All right, so just read off some of the success there. How much weight did you lose?
So I weighed in at 301.4 pounds, and then today it was 282 pounds, so it was 19.4 total drop, which is awesome because I didn't weigh myself the entire time. And I was actually kind of like interested to see, you know, like I said, I kind of had a bad week last week where, you know, a little more cheat meals than I should have, but super awesome. I mean, I haven't lost that much weight in probably like 7 years, so it's pretty good. You know, like even like waist, you know, you'll go through, you'll see, you know, 48.5 inches down to 46.5.
Yeah, so you lost like 13, just over 13.5 total inches.
Yeah, from top to bottom, pretty much.
All right.
Yeah, so that's the proof is in the pudding, right?
A 6-week program. You feel like you can continue rolling on this thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, specifically, like we had to do the, you know, the logs each day. I don't have like a diary or like a book, but what I did do is I bought like a dry erase board. It's in my kitchen, and I just check off each. You know, I've got 5 boxes on there, so it's the vitamins, the waters, and then the meals. So like everything gets a check. You know, so for me, that's my new like.
You just build a little
diary.
checklist for yourself.
That's it.
Awesome.
So just going through that, and then.
Why did you do the challenge?
It's something I've been thinking about for quite some time, and you know,
it just seemed like the right time.
It just happened. You know, I knew I needed to do it. A couple weeks prior, I had blood work done, and I went to the cardiologist, and they were just like, "All right, buddy, like this is your 3rd visit now, and you're kind of just staying at this like weight of 300. You really need to do something because once you get in your 40s and 50s, it's going to be a lot harder to get that off."
For anybody who's watching, just give us kind of like the basics of like what actually happened during the challenge. Like,
well, it was scary. I mean, like, you know, I had worked out my entire life, and then I went 5 years almost of like off and on of like nothing. So there's always that like doubt in your mind of like, all right, am I going to show up and look like a complete fool? Like, and I was gassed from the first workout. Like, it was brutal. I think I created the biggest sweat pool I've ever seen. It was like a little sweat angel, I think Kathy called it. So, you know, that for me, just that once I got done that first class, like, all right, it's not so bad. Yeah. Like, you know, I was kicking my butt at the time, but I knew that I needed it. So it was really cool because you guys did a ton of videos leading up to it. Like, all right, here's what the expectations are. You know, here's how we're going to prep the foods. Here's lists of foods. And then, you know, everyone was kind of posting on Facebook that, okay, here's what I'm leaning towards, or, you know, I even saw somebody made like a zucchini lasagna. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool looking. I never made it, but, you know, it's still there.
There was workouts involved, and then there was
so the
a lot
workouts,
of nutrition content.
So we would get done the workout. We would meet with Vanessa. She would kind of go over that week. You know, we would talk about any challenges that we might have had. You know, what was successful, what worked. You know, for me, you know, it was just trying not to get too complicated with it. Like, all right, pick 3 things and cook them. Yeah. I don't need to be on world's, you know, toughest kitchen or anything like that. But it's just like, all right, just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. You know, and then each week we were given a goal or like a focus point. You know, so like the first week was just making sure that all the meals were, you know, in point. So it was just a focus, you know, for 7 days to keep on that track. And then I think my next one was my struggle was getting in 3 workouts at least a week. So that was, you know, of course you made my goal 4. So I got it for 1 week, which was good. But, you know, even still, like I said, I have that downtime. And I know it's there. It's just a matter of choosing to you know, put the work in or, you know, choose to go take that little nap. And then, you know, having that, the daily forms was really awesome too, because it gave you a chance once you're done with the day, they put all the information in, and you kind of get a chance to look over what you did, and then you can realize, even if I only got, 100 out of 120 points, I still got 100 freaking points. So like I was doing something, better than what I was doing before.
Yeah.
So it was just, even if I didn't get a perfect day, it was still 10 times better than what I was doing prior.
Yeah.
For sure.
What do you think was the hardest part?
Starting. Yeah.
Just getting started.
Just like doing it. And then once I signed up, everything just kind of rolled. It was making sure I showed up for the class and, put the time aside and things like that. Outside of that, like once in the challenge, I would say the hardest part was like week 3 and 4, I was saying, where it was like, okay, you kind of have been pretty strict with yourself. And actually, I think Vanessa brought this up in the one talk because, you can be super duper strict for like 6 weeks and then you can get these great results and then all of a sudden you're going to come out of this program and feel great about yourself. And then you're going to say, I deserve to, go out and have some drinks with the guys and go get this blue cheeseburger. And then the next day, you can kind of get back into that snowball effect. And then you lose all the gains, all the goals that you just achieved. So we introduced like a cheat meal, like, okay, if you set a goal for yourself this week of making sure you have all your meals prepped, then go ahead and have that, cheeseburger, or if you want a martini or iced pop or whatever it is. But when you're done with it, get right back on,
Yeah.
So I think that was the toughest part because once I got that opportunity, I kind of ran with it a couple extra days than really what I should have. But the cool part was we were still in the program, so I was kind of able to like rein it back in and know like, all right, I need to keep it going or else I'm going to be back where I was 3 weeks ago.
Do you feel like that's going to be, it sounds to me like that would probably be like the most valuable lesson that you
For
learned.
Sure. Yeah.
That you can reel it back in.
So now it's just, it's on me and then, to keep myself accountable, for it. Now that I think about it, that's probably like number one.
Yeah. What was the first sign that you felt or saw that you knew you were making progress?
Ooh.
And like when was
it? My sweat angel.
On day one?
Yeah, day one sweat angel. I would say like, the way your clothes fit, you feel that. So like I wear like a polo to work, so I could just tell like the sides were just like, I felt it.
Yeah.
So that was probably the first thing. Like physically I could see, as far as feeling wise, like switching from Gatorade to water was like night and day. After like the third day of like almost like feeling like I needed sugar, like it just felt so much better.
Yeah.
Like it was just, my thirst was actually like quenched. It wasn't a Gatorade where, like it has thirst quencher on it, but it's really not. So we'll have to write them a letter about that. Or maybe we'll sue them. So that, I would say the first thing would probably be like the energy, that I just felt, better from the water. Sleep. I got it kind of away from the naps. So I was trying to get to more like just constant, like just straight through.
Good night's sleep.
Yeah, so like before when I was doing nothing, I would watch TV and fall asleep for 30 minutes and then I'd be up all night because then I'm not tired. So to go back and answer that question, I would say water, like just feeling how I felt better without the sugar in there, and then noticing how much better I felt when I got the proper sleep, going through the whole night. And then I would say it was probably maybe like a week and a half to 2 weeks in, I probably felt like an actual, like, clothes fit a little bit better, stuff like that.
Is there anything you wish you would have done differently in the challenge?
Would have done differently. I would have liked to have incorporated more exercise.
Yeah.
So for me, it's,
because the program only had 2 workouts per week, right?
Yeah, and I could only make it Wednesday nights. Well, let me digress. I could have made it 6 a.m. as well. Could have, should have, but I was getting my 7 hours of sleep, right? So I can only do it one.
So it would have been to work out more.
Yeah, definitely, and there's time, so it's a matter of okay, and this is a really good example. So it's like, all right, perfect. Over 6 weeks, at what I was just doing, this is what I saw.
Right.
So if I continue at this, okay, at some point I'm going to hit a wall of where I'm not going to be seeing these growths like that, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm going to have to say, okay, now I need to sacrifice and do something different. Now it's a matter of, okay, instead of just doing these cardio-based workouts, I need to get some strength training involved.
Yeah.
Or maybe I need to go up to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, but if you had to guess how many of the points out of total in percentage, like you were 90% adherence or you were 50%, what would you?
I put myself between like 70 and 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, the first 3
C
weeks I
plus
was like
student.
super on point, like just very good. And then, you know, I could see like 2 days a week I was losing points here and there. Sleep, you know, started to get affected. That was more like work and personal things going on. And then the workouts I stayed fairly consistent with up until like the last week. I think I only got like 1 in.
Yeah.
Because I missed that Wednesday workout, but
Are you satisfied with the results that you got? Adhering
I'm actually impressed that they were this good.
Yeah.
Only going 70, 80%.
Yeah.
Again, I also look at it as I was doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Do you feel like this was a good?
still impressed by it because
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, normally for me it's always 100%.
Yeah.
Like it's 100% yes or 100% no. There's never like middle ground. Like I'm either doing it or not doing it. So it was actually kind of refreshing to do something and have that flexibility of like, all right, you know what? A couple days screw up or a couple meals screw up, no big deal. Get back into it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've kind of created that habit now over the last 6 weeks where it's not even like a second. It's not even a thought. I don't have to go out of my way now to think it. It's just like, okay, all right, I ate a pork roll sandwich at the ballpark and I had 2 beers. And then the next morning I'm waking up and I'm grilling spinach and eggs and I'm making an omelet.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to tell myself, hey, don't forget today, you know, last night you cheated a little bit, but
Yeah.
so I was just like getting right back into it.
That's
I'm not
automatic.
thinking about it anymore as opposed
Yeah.
to in the beginning when, you know, I was like, all right. okay,
Consciously making a decision outside
yeah,
of the
the
norm.
first 2 weeks, you know, you're kind of building that, creating a habit pretty much.
Lastly, if there was somebody sitting at home that was in the same shoes as you before the challenge, what would you tell them about?
These shoes, actually.
Yeah.
What would I say?
Would you recommend them signing up?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you know, I would just say that, you know, your mind's going to tell you you can't do it, you know, and you're constantly telling yourself like, okay, let's put it off or let's do it tomorrow or whatever the case is. And then you end up looking back 3 weeks later and you're like, man, I had all that time. I should have done this, you know, and you kind of get more, you beat yourself up over it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, not thinking about it and just doing it and then looking back at it, you'll be so happy that you made the choice, you know, to do it because, like I said, even if you put in 80%, you know,
Like,
70%,
still-
you're still going to see the benefits and then you're going to realize, okay, like, this isn't as hard as my mind has made it out to be. Like I can get there.
Yeah.
You know, at some point we've all been in shape that we were very happy with, and then for whatever reason we're here. So the good news is it doesn't take as long to get back. It's just a matter of putting the time and effort.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say like don't worry about the future. Just today, like get today done with, and you know, sign up or you know do something.
Yeah.
You know, and get going.
Do you feel like the environment and the coaching staff here is capable of working with, obviously with you, with others that had success in the program, but I guess, do you feel like the coaching staff here could help anybody, or is it like, is it only fit people that can be helped here, or?
No. You want me to take my shirt off and show them? See my sex shirt?
We're gonna put the before and after pictures at the end of this
Yeah,
video,
there
so.
you go. I mean, listen, I played sports, high school, throughout college, intramural leagues, all the time. So like in my mind, I always thought, you know, I was very physically active, and then I literally went to do absolutely nothing for, you know, 5 years. Like, okay, maybe a volleyball league here and there, but nothing consistent. And, you know, even some of the people that have introduced to, you know, you guys over the years, just, you know, they've never been involved physically in anything. And, you know, it doesn't mean you can't learn what to do. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you get car trouble. All right, I can go to a university and take classes and become a mechanic, or I can go to someone who's a professional and knows how to do it, right? So like you guys, you know how to operate, you know, as far as, okay, if somebody has a set of goals, this is the plan we're going to put you on. So it's the same thing. You know, we come in, you guys have the structure, you know, and the education there. It's up to us, of course, to put the effort in and follow it. No matter what level. I mean, if it's, you know, someone who's never worked out in their entire life, you know, and has just been thinking about it, or if it is someone who is a great athlete and, you know, they just want to perform at a higher level, you know, you're still going to be able to find a way to cater a program to them, you know, there's nobody that doesn't fit, I guess is a good example,
Yeah.
good answer to say.
Any last words, Don?
No, I'm very happy with everything. You know, I appreciate, you know, I don't know, I guess like the stars aligned that day. I don't know what happened, but I'm very happy with myself, you know, for doing it. And can't wait to continue, you know, doing it. Do it.
We'll seal it up.